Hey guys, what's going on? Jared Axford with Axford Motorsports here again. Hey, long time no see, but having some difficulties here in Ohio lately. A lot of freeze and thaw and snow, all the way to 2 inches of rain. So if you're from the area, you probably know what I mean. So today we're at the shop finally again after a while. Gonna finally get this motor out of the car today. Been here a little bit, got the car rearranged. Since last time, if you're new to the show or to the channel, last time we pulled out the harness, the standalone harness and computer, disconnected all the wiring inside the engine bay, drained the rest of the water out of it, and got this car kind of ready to go to pull this motor today. So yeah, gonna get it set up. Thank you guys for tuning in, and hope you enjoy. Like I said, you guys see I kind of rearranged the car in here. I pushed the uncle's modified over a little more so I can get the car kind of at a better angle. That way I can put the cherry picker down and pull this engine with plenty of room. Did get great news. We do have our first returning sponsor of the year. We got Russell Real Estate Services, realtor David Axford. David is actually my cousin. He just helped me recently purchase a home with my wife this past fall. David's been on the car since we started. Big supporter, not only as a family member, but as a fan of racing. He's just a huge supporter of me and what we're doing here. So very thankful for David. Like I said, if you're in the area, heck, if you're anywhere in the nation and you need a home, check out David Axford at Russell Real Estate Services, 440-281-3010. Check them out, guys. You won't be disappointed. So do a quick little walk around the car here. You can see, like I said, got all the electrical out, drain the rest of the water. So we're going to get it jacked up and some stands under it. Get the tires off, pop the axles, and get this thing pulled shortly. we got the wheels off, one of the first things we got to do is climb up under here. If you see that right there, that is the drain plug for the transmissions on these F23 Chevy Cobalt, Chevy Cavalier, Saturn Vue, HHR transmissions. That plug right there I put in is just a different one from the parts store. It's got an Allen head in it, or it's got a socket head in it, to where the stock one is just like an Allen key that's very shallow. Having the socket head on there, you can actually get a box 16 or 17 millimeter wrench on there, and you can loosen it up. I've had problems where the other ones, the stock ones, over time just tighten up, and placed it with that one, never had an issue since. So I'm gonna reach up in there, get this. There we go. Get that undone. Pan in. And there we go. Red gold. Best smelling stuff out there. Some good old ATF. I run Schaefer's ATF in mine. It's not an ATF. I forget exactly what it is, but it is Schaefer's transmission fluid. These transmissions call for, I believe it's 1.8. Now, putting these under the racing aspects that we do, if you put a whole 1.8 quarts in, you either got to mess with the breather cap and put some type of a filter tube on it so it doesn't blow all over the place, or what I do is I just put 1.5 quart in, and that way it doesn't come up too much and bleed out from the cap, because the cap has a built-in breather on it, so that'll allow it to come out, and it'll actually be able to get in on your clutch disc and ruin your clutch disc if it gets all over the top of your transmission. So we're gonna let that finish emptying out there, and in the meantime we'll start getting this bottom end apart, the steering knuckle, so we can pop the driver's side axle, and then we'll head over and do the same on the passenger side. Part of what we're going to be replacing this winter is we're going to be putting new calipers. These are the original stock calipers off this Cobalt. We're going to be putting on new rotors. These ones pretty rough. Sat outside for a while and they got pretty rusty. Plus, like I said, these are the originals as well. So I think it's just time to upgrade to some new ones. Stuff that brake right up there, that caliper. Keep going on this knuckle here. not have my pickle fork for doing tie rods here. I know there's not one, so I'm gonna have to find a bigger hammer, something to improvise with. Last year, the rough year, tried to play with a new type of adjustable steering stabilizer link. Put it on the car. One time at a track that allowed it. Went out and practiced. Had it set. 5 laps later, blew the motor. So really never got a true feel for the item. So tracker running this year does not allow it, so save that for when we go to do some touring stuff. Oh, before I get that, I gotta get that action out of there. Oh. The thing about dealing with front-wheel drive cars is that everyone always shits on them. You know, they sound like weed whackers going off or whatever, but these cars are truly the new style of almost like a street stock was back in the day. These are just OEM manufactured parts. You don't have companies like All-Star and Weir's and How, you know, making aftermarket parts for these cars. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do to try to get things in the car. So the rules are very limited on these cars. So adjustability, doing things to find speed, making adjustments it's kind of difficult, but it is fun. Got completely about taking this axle nut off. So while this spindle's still locked in with this bottom bolt that I can't get out, I'm gonna have to pop this spindle nut off. So got a second for that. Okay, after the bolts want to be kind of stubborn and taking a little while to find the socket I needed to get that hub nut off. Finally got it all off. Got the spindle and the hub laying there on the ground. And then, as you can see, the old rotor. Over here is the axle. As you can see, got the axle pulled, still some fluid. I like to leave that fluid on there. Just so it doesn't go rusting up on me. Then I always make sure to put the washer and the axle nut back on the axle. Kind of want to go over my spindle here, as this is not just your normal stock Cobalt spindle. Sorry about the rust on it, but so this here is actually a Pontiac G6 spindle. The Cobalt spindles are notorious for breaking because right about here they actually go in. They don't have all this extra material here. The Cobalt spindles and this spindle itself are aluminum spindles, but like I said, with the stock one kind of going up and in, not all that extra material on there, it's very weak, and they tend to break. I had one break 2 seasons ago. I was running good at Painesville Speedway. Started the race 11th. By lap 4, I was up to 4th place. Really had a shot at it that night, I thought. But the spindle decided to say otherwise and broke on the driver's side. So I have these spindles on both sides of the car, so I don't want to take any risks, especially on the passenger side. Last thing you want is a spindle breaking and you heading up into the wall. Guy by the name of Brad Whiteside has a great video. I'll try to put the link in the description. If you want to do this same swap on your Cobalt, pretty much all you got to do is these 3 holes here. You have to drill them out a little larger so that way you can get the stock Cobalt 4 lug hub in to fit in there. And then as far as the hub goes, I have a non-ABS hub because you don't want ABS when you're racing. It is a Moog hub. I've always been a big proponent of Moog products. Some people don't like them, others do. I love them. It's kind of what I grew up on. But it's a Moog hub that I put in last year. And then I actually went out and I took the stock studs that came in the hub out, and I bought, these are Mosier studs, still the same stock pitch, 12 M12 by 150, but these are extremely long studs. That way when you run the 1-inch lug nuts that are thicker than a standard lug nut, you have plenty of extra meat on here in case a lug comes loose or something. You have extra meat on here, extra threads sticking out. Just kind of a fail-safe type of deal, I feel like. Plus, like I said, being Mosier, I feel like they're much stronger. I went around last winter and I put these in all 4 corners of the car. I have an extra hub for the front and an extra hub for the rear that also has them in. So as long as I'm racing, I will always have longer studs in. So you can actually see it on the rear there. Yeah, I know there's only 2 lug nuts on, but you can see just how much is sticking out from that lug nut. I mean, there's a whole nother inch almost sticking out. So I just feel a lot more at ease in case something does happen. So yeah, but like I said, we got this other side, this driver's side torn apart, got the axle out. Now on the passenger side, I actually robbed my spindle and strut for my enduro car. I didn't, like I said, you can see this is actually a stock Cobalt spindle there. Just see how much, that other one has all this extra meat right in here. Just, like I said, a lot weaker. So that's why I went with the G6 one to be a lot stronger. You can see how short those stock studs are. So this side, I never even connected this sway bar link when I put this strut in here just to move the car around. So this side, I'm just going to pop the hub nut off and drop the whole entire spindle out just to get it out of the car, because I'm going to be tearing the good strut and spindle off of the enduro car, and that will be going back on this car. So yeah. All right, hey guys, day 2 of getting this engine out. So yesterday when I pulled the axles out, got the exhaust undone, and went to pull the engine out, the last thing I had to do was unhook the shifter cables. So I went to unhook the shifter cables, and I realized that I did not have my socket for this bolt right here. This is a T-head bolt, and you need a special T12 socket to get that out. So went home last night, did some searching around, found the socket we need, and we're back in shape today. So got the cherry picker all hooked up, and I'm gonna get this thing out of here, these shifter cables undone, and yank this engine. It's well overdue. shit. Now we got the motor out of the car. We can kind of diagnose what exactly happened to it. As you can see, that is not just a viewport so you can see what the rods are doing while the motor's running. That's a chunk out of the side of the block. That chunk is pretty familiar to me as every motor I blew this year, that's the same hole it created. But as I was pulling the motor out, you'll not be able to see it now that it's on the stand. See that paper towel there? There's actually a crack in the oil pan. If I remember correctly, when the motor blew, about half a lap before that, I remember seeing a little bit of smoke coming up from underneath the hood. Now, I thought it was just some excess smoke, oil that got on the header or something that, burning off from there. But now I'm wondering if that oil pan, that crack, started leaking oil on the track or underneath the car and was blowing back onto the exhaust. And that's what was the smoke I was seeing. And at the point I had seen it, it was too late, and the car had no oil in it, essentially, and we get our viewport. So this motor is toast, even the head, I think, but the transmission is obviously salvageable. Starter, alternator, brand new water pump on it. Looks like I'm gonna need a new oil pan for the next one. So, all right, guys. So with the engine being out now, figured out maybe possible other issues. We can be done for the day by the weekend. Got a little bit of a mess to clean up from that cracked oil pan. Leaked some more oil out. So. Gonna get the shop cleaned up and head home and watch the NASCAR Xfinity race. So till next time, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share. So catch you later.